How do you justify having LeBron in the top 10 when the Lakers were almost 2 points per game better without him than with him on the floor, and go to from a positive to a negative plus minus team? It clearly isn't because the Lakers bench is that dominant, nor because he makes the key plays in fourth quarter. And that wasn't the case for either AD or Luka or the other two comparable players. Don't get me wrong, LeBron is still good, but you simply aren't nowhere near a top 10 player if your team is better without you than with you on the floor. So let's talk about what this has been caused by. So per Cleaning the Glass, the Lakers this year were 6.9 points worse with LeBron on the floor versus off. So he had a bad plus minus year. Okay. There are some reasons for that, which we'll get into for a minute. But I think it's fucking hilarious because every LeBron hater, every troll account, every sports media personality that doesn't like LeBron, that wants to have a moment at his expense, every single one of those guys has flocked to this damn plus minus number like it is the last TV on a sale rack on Black Friday. Like, it is crazy to watch them piranha around this stat like it's the craziest LeBron truther moment in the history of his career in the league. Let me just read a couple stats for you. These are LeBron's plus minus stats, his on-off numbers in a Lakers jersey over the course of his entire tenure there. So 2025, yeah, they were roughly 7 points worse with LeBron on the floor versus off. 2024, 8.3 points better per 100 possessions. 2023, 9.7 points better per 100 possessions. 2022, 3.1 points better. That was the worst Laker team in that era. That was after the Russell Westbrook trade. Still 3 points better with LeBron on the floor versus off. 2021, 13 points better per 100 possessions with LeBron on versus off. 2020, 11 points better. 2019, 9 points better. So consistently, literally every single year except for the 2022 year where AD was hurt the whole season and Russ was on the team, he was at least 8 points as a positive plus minus guy on the floor versus off. He is consistently throughout his entire career for decades the plus minus monster of the NBA. And he has one season where there's this obvious statistical outlier and every LeBron hater flocked to it like it was the craziest fucking thing in the world. And it's just so transparent because every one of you who jump on that, you're just telling on yourself as someone that's unwilling to look more than 2 inches in front of your face. Like, this is completely absurd. It is literally the definition of a statistical outlier. Because of the injuries to Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic last year, and because JJ Redick made a decision to try to pair Austin with Anthony Davis as much as possible because they needed each other for offense and he trusted LeBron to try to lead those groups, LeBron had to play over 800 possessions last year with Austin, Luka, and AD all off the floor at the same time. And those groups got absolutely rolled. They were minus 8.4 points per 100 possessions. That's awful. And it's not hard to see why. Their most used lineup in that data set had Christian Coloco at center. That's a two-way contract. Dalton Connect, a rookie who you guys know I'm just not very high on, and Gabe Vincent and D'Angelo Russell, who probably shouldn't be in any starting lineup anywhere around the league. Of course, those groups were getting rolled. That large chunk of data is the kind of thing that's one of the elements that can lead to a statistical outlier. Another way to look at it is like this. Austin Reaves was an awesome plus-minus guy for the Lakers last year. Do you think Austin is a much better basketball player than LeBron James? Or do you think that it was just statistical noise? It was obviously statistical noise. We have decades worth of data, including as recently as last year and various points in as recently as the year before last. And even in last year, certain stretches, like in the middle of the season where LeBron was this plus minus monster in between the Anthony Davis injury and Luka Doncic joining the Lakers. He was incredible during that phase. We have so much data where they're just clearly better when he's on the floor versus off. So all of you people who suddenly fixated on that metric, you're literally making a fool of yourselves. You sound stupid when you're talking about it. So like, I just had to take a second to get that off my chest because it just is completely absurd that everyone's jumped on that like it's some sort of revealing metric that shows like it's some conspiracy theory that has finally been brought to light. Like, oh yeah, you're right, guys. LeBron actually hurts the team he's playing for. Good one. You did good stuff there. Hey, Jason, I have a question as a Lakers Austin Reaves fan. What do you think Austin needs to add to his game to breach this tier of top 25-ish players? He's obviously nowhere near guys like Trey, Ja, and playoff Jamal, but I wonder how long it'll take him to reach his ceiling, considering he's already 27. It would be interesting to see some of Austin's stats as an offensive engine. Close out attacking next to Luka and LeBron, his defense rebounding, which is obviously an issue. Thanks, keep it up. So I think there's a couple pieces for Austin. I don't know that he'll ever breach the top 25 on this list, but to me, it's more like, can he get into that top 40? Like, can he get into the list of guys that I'm considering for the top 25? And I actually had him on an early version of the list when I had like 47 names, and then I cut 7 guys, and Austin was one of those guys that I got cut before I refined it down to 40. And it's a couple things. One, physicality. Austin pretty generally, especially against teams that can switch, struggles to deal with big physical perimeter defenders. So like putting on a little bit more muscle and just getting a little bit better at shedding physical ball pressure, I think will go a long way towards helping him. And then the second piece is his inconsistent jump shooting. Like he is just very streaky, especially from the 3-point line and especially in catch and shoot situations. And that is a thing that limits his off-ball utility, especially in the context of playing alongside a guy like Luka Doncic. I want to see Austin improve just generally as a jump shooter from the 3-point line, and then again that strength and physicality so that he can deal with ball pressure better than he has been. I'll focus on Ja for this mailbag. While I agree with your point that he hasn't added much to his game recently and he's missed significant time, I still find his high-end value as a number one option hard to ignore. Even without the notable development lately, his passing, rim pressure, and ability to blow by defenders remain so freakishly elite that I think they outpace what Trey and Jamal bring, especially considering Jamal is a number 2 option. To me, Ja still has the potential to be the best player on a championship team. Even if that possibility is fading with time, I don't feel the same way about Trey or Jamal. So while I understand why Ja might be left off a list like this, it's tough for me to give Murray the nod over someone like Ja, who's already made an All-NBA team and carried a franchise. Curious, how much weight do you put on a player's role when making these kinds of comparisons? Where do you draw the line when deciding to rank a high-level secondary option like Murray over a true number 1 like Ja? Thanks again for all the great work. Looking forward to the next piece. This is a great question, and I think there's 2 angles that I want to get into. First of all, once again, Ja only played in 50 games last year. Once again, Ja got hurt in the playoffs, couldn't finish the series. It's not even the first time that's happened. He managed to play in 60 games just once in the last 4 years. So there's a theoretical element just with him being able to stay on the floor. Then there's another theoretical element, which is like anybody who's listened to the show over the course of the last year has seen. I've 3 or 4 different times come on the show and been like, Ja Morant has the potential to be the best player on a championship team. I genuinely agree with you, but he's not there yet. In order for him to get to that point, he needs to turn, Ja will have these really good defensive possessions. He needs to turn that into a higher floor where he's more consistent possession to possession, right? On offense, there's a jump shooting piece and a playmaking piece that he needs to continue to refine over time. There's a decision-making at the rim piece that he has to refine over time. He has the potential to be the best player on a championship team, but right now he is neither that nor available. So when I'm looking at this season, just this season, like if you're asking me who do I want for the next 5 years, Ja Morant or Jamal Murray, different question. But specifically for this list, when we're just talking about who's the best guy for me to have to lead this team this coming year from October to June, I feel like I can count on more from Jamal Murray than the super wide range of outcomes from Ja. Now, for the record, I know that there's a chance that Ja happens to come into camp in great shape and puts on a little bit more muscle, takes really good care of his body, plays 70 games, spends all summer in the gym working on his 3-point shot, shoots 38% from 3, finishes 4th in MVP voting. Memphis gets the 5 or 4 seed, and he just looks fucking awesome. They win a couple playoff rounds, losing the conference finals. That is an upside that Ja has that I know Jamal's not going to do this year, obviously, right? But that's the high end of the potential Ja Morant outcomes. There's a very wide range of outcomes. And there's one over here where they miss the playoffs. He plays in 43 games and he shoots 28% from 3. That's still a potential outcome for Ja Morant. And I'd argue that's every bit as likely, if not more likely, than the top end of that spectrum. And so I'm a believer in Ja's talent. We've talked about this. His supreme ability to beat people off the dribble. I actually think he has a really reliable shot-making piece close to the basket in that like short range where he pops up off the ground and shoots those little floaters. I'm a believer in Ja, but it's theoretical in terms of availability and it's theoretical in terms of upside right now. So yeah, Ja's probably going to be in that 28, 29 range for me on this list, but he didn't crack the top 25 for me because of that theoretical element.